So now that the bow has been put on Texas's victory over Alabama, there are three questions that need answering. And equally as important, there's an observation about this game that the national media missed. Question number one, is Texas on the right track? Answer, yes. Yes, they are. They are recruiting the right way. They are preparing themselves for games the right way. And they're being coached the right way. So absolutely, yes, Texas is on the right track. Their destiny is in their own hands. If they continue to work hard and prepare like they prepared for the Crimson Tide, the sky is the limit for Texas football. Question number two, is Nick Saban's dynasty over? Answer, unknown. For context, Alabama won the national championship 3 years ago. They played for another national title 2 years ago. And last season, they won a Sugar Bowl and only lost 2 games. And while I know the Crimson Tide are certainly disappointed to lose this game to Texas, at the end of the day, it's just one game. And as such, we just don't have enough information to answer the question, is Nick Saban's dynasty over? In my opinion, that answer will come throughout the remainder of this season as well as next season. Question number 3, is Texas ready for the SEC? Answer, yes. What we saw on the field in Tuscaloosa on Saturday underscores the fact that Texas is capable of winning big games and winning in very tough atmospheres. So based on what we saw Saturday night, as well as the overall talent level and the coaching at the University of Texas, I can say wholeheartedly that Texas is certainly ready for SEC play in 2024. Now, having provided those answers from the 3 questions that I posed before the game, there's an observation I want to make here that the national media just seems to have missed. Through this game, and certainly at the end of the game, there was a very palpable feeling of an energy shift in college football. And the last time I felt that kind of shift was in the 2010 Rose Bowl, which, coincidentally enough, featured Texas versus Alabama for the national championship. And if you were old enough to recall that game, if you watched that game in 2010, you'll remember the freak injury that occurred to Colt McCoy that changed not only the course of that game for Texas, but ended up changing the trajectory of the entire program for a decade. We didn't realize it at the time at the end of that game, but you could kind of feel the energetic shift in college football at the end of that Rose Bowl. It felt like Alabama had established themselves as a true perennial contender. And it also kind of felt like the wind was let out of the sails for the Texas Longhorns. During Saturday's game, there was a similar current of energetic shift throughout that stadium. Now, thankfully, there were no serious injuries to either side, but there were strange occurrences that happened throughout that game that changed the outcome of the contest. Certainly, the 2 touchdowns that were called back for Alabama because of penalties, and most especially due to the muffed snap on a 4th down conversion attempt by Texas that resulted in them picking up the first down. Now, as I watched that play live, I actually thought it was a fumble-rooski. I actually thought it was designed that way by Sark, and I was like, my God, Sark is pulling out every stop in this game. It turns out it was not a fumble-rooski, it was just a muff snap. That worked out quite fortuitously for the University of Texas. Because at the end of the contest, it felt like Texas had established itself as a contender once again. And conversely, it felt like the wind had been let out of the sails for Alabama football. Now, how much wind was let out of those sails, no one knows. We're going to find that out. But in a weird, karmic, energetic way, it felt like the scales have finally been balanced after that 2010 Rose Bowl. It felt like at the end of the night, the Texas Longhorns had finally come out the other side of that portal, a portal that was opened in 2010 in Pasadena, California. And quite honestly, it feels great. Now, there's a lot of football to be played in this 2023 season. And even though this was a big win for the University of Texas, at the end of the day, it's just one game. And there's a lot more work to do. Keeping that in mind, there is a lot more football left on the docket in 2023. And if you're a Texas fan and you're listening to this, now is the time to start shifting your energy to Wyoming. This is Kevin in Texas saying God bless each and every one of you. Hook 'em horns. I'll talk to you later. Bye.